I'm Rekha, and this is an attempt to bring stories from the past, from our history, the present, case studies, mythology, and folk tales, and what management lesson we can learn from these stories. Today, I'm going to read out a folk tale from Africa, and the story is titled as A Caterpillar's Voice. Folk tales not necessarily just be bedtime stories for kids. These stories can also be for grown-ups like us and what lesson we can learn which we can apply in our personal as well as career life. So let me read out the story now. A Caterpillar's Voice from East Africa, a folk tale. Once upon a time, a caterpillar crawled inside a hare's horse when the hare was away and set about making himself comfortable. When the hare returned home, he noticed new marks on the ground going into the cave. He called, "Who's in my house?" The caterpillar boomed out in a loud voice. "It is I, yes, I who crushes rhinos to the earth and tramples elephants to the dust, into dust." The hare hopped about, crying, "What can a small animal like me do with a creature who crushes rhinos and tramples elephants?" He soon met a jackal and asked the jackal to talk to the terrible creature who had taken possession of his home and to convince him to leave. The jackal agreed, and when they reached the place, he barked loudly and said, "Who's in the house of my friend, the hare?" The caterpillar replied in a voice that rocked the earth, "It is I. Yes, I who crushes rhinos to the earth and tramples elephants into dust." On hearing this, the jackal thought, "Certainly I can do nothing against such a creature," and he quickly left. The hare then fetched a leopard, and he begged the leopard to help him. The leopard assured the hare it would be no trouble at all. On reaching the spot, the leopard bared his claws and growled, "Who's in the house of my friend, the hare?" The caterpillar replied in the same manner as he had done before. The leopard was alarmed and thought, "If he crushes rhinos and elephants, I don't even want to think about what he could do to me." Next, the hare sought out the rhinoceros. "No doubt, I am the most fearsome of beasts," grunted the rhino. The rhino marched to the hare's cave where he snorted and pawed the ground with his massive feet. But when the rhino asked who was inside and heard the caterpillar's booming reply, he thought, "What he says? What? He says he can crush me to the earth?" And the rhino thundered away, crashing through the forest. Growing frantic, the hare tried the elephant and asked him to come to his assistance. But like the others, on hearing what the caterpillar had to say, the elephant knew that he had no wish to be trampled underfoot like dust and stamped off. In despair, by this point, the hare asked a frog passing by if he could possibly make the creature who had frightened all the other animals leave his home. The frog went to the cave door and asked who was inside. He received the same reply as he had given to the others. Then the frog went nearer and shouted, "I, who am the strongest of all, have come at last. I am the one who crushes those who crush the rhinos. I am the one who tramples underfoot those who trample the elephants." When the caterpillar inside the hare's cave heard this, he trembled. He sensed the shadow of the frog coming nearer and thought, After all, I am only a caterpillar. And the caterpillar and the caterpillar inched out of the hare's den along its dead edge, trying not to be noticed. The animals who had collected around the hare's house seized the caterpillar and dragged him out. What? You? They all cried in disbelief. I would never dream of staying in this cave, said the caterpillar with his nose in the air. An echo like that is far too crude for a refined creature like myself. As he sniffed away, all the other animals laughed at the trouble he had given them. Isn't it a lovely story? And I hope you enjoyed the story. And what is the lesson we can learn from this story? See, when I read the story, I was reflecting my own experience when I was working in a typical corporate world. See, there was one instance where it was told by my manager that I have to work on a project with a particular lady, and I have observed her working in another team. She was looking magnificent, and how she presents herself, how she communicates with others. She had a very flamboyant language. So I was intimidated by her. She was not in the attempt of intimidating me, but I was thinking like she is far efficient and far efficient and a good talented person compared to me. So when there was a occasion where I had to work with her, I was feeling little low about herself, about myself. But finally we started working together. When we started to working together is where I realized that other than her dressing sense and how she presented herself, her flamboyant language, other than that, her efficiency in work and all was not that great, and it was far better than what I thought about myself when I compared with her. So I felt like unnecessarily I was intimidated by her, but she was not. She that was not her intention. But I unnecessarily got intimidated by her appearance, and I thought like I felt low about myself, and I thought big about her. See, don't we? I hope you would also reflect on a similar experience in your personal or your professional life, right? See, many times we think low about ourselves and we think very high about others, and we fail to attempt a new project, we fail to take up a new role. Sometimes in a business, we do not take up a new business deal, and we think like we are not that efficient enough, we are not skilled, and we hold ourselves. But we are much better than what we think about ourselves. So I would bet, I would request you, go for it. Whatever project, whatever role, whatever business deal is it, go for it and rock the show. You will win it. Okay, good. I hope you enjoyed this story, and I hope it gave you a good lesson which can be carried out in your personal life and in your professional life. I personally enjoyed this story, and I thought I will share this story with you. If you like the story, give a thumbs up. And if you want to hear more stories, more case studies, and more lessons, please subscribe to our channel for regular updates. Thank you very much.